YouTube, what's up? Riz here, and I have the third podcast for the NFL draft for you guys today. If you haven't seen the first two, please check those out. I'll leave a link in the description for the playlist for those podcasts. First one covered quarterback, second one covered running backs, also covered some rumors and news for the NFL draft. This one will cover receivers. Nothing really new in terms of rumors for the draft. The running back episode was earlier in the week, covered some rumors there, so check that out. As far as for me, guys that maybe are catching my eye or going up on my big board, the two safeties, Jamal Adams and Malik Hooker, they are flying up my draft board. I mean, not going up that much because they're already pretty high, but both very good. But Jamal Adams is a guy I really, really like. You don't see a safety like him too often at all. You might not see another one like him in a long time, maybe even not like Malik Hooker. But Adams, total package guy. He is moving up my draft board, my big board. Big board and position rankings, working on those, releasing them once I'm comfortable with them, as well as mock draft coming later this week or earlier next week. But let's get into these receivers. This is what I want to talk about today. At the top, obvious, Mike Williams. I think I got a lock in my top three receivers. Pretty confident about him. Mike Williams 1, Corey Davis 2, John Ross 3. Mike Williams, Corey Davis, pretty similar. What separates them? Mike Williams a little bit better hands, and he played against better competition, so that gives Mike Williams the edge. Corey Davis really like a lot out of Western Michigan, very good player. Another thing to look at is Mike Williams did have Deshaun Watson as his quarterback. Corey Davis did not have the best quarterback in the nation like Mike Williams did. So that's another thing you can consider there if you want to argue Corey Davis is number one. But I got Mike Williams over Corey Davis, and my third is John Ross. Don't think this top three will change. John Ross, a guy 5'11", 190, smaller guy, but very fast, very athletic, electrifying player. The thing about him, like size, like looks like he's a slot receiver, but he's not. He can go downfield. I mean, he can be a slot receiver, but he can go downfield and catch the ball, get open downfield, and then he needs a quarterback to bomb it to him. He really takes that speed to the next level once the ball's in the air. Really like that. So rare type of receiver that can play both very, very well. An example, T.Y. Hilton, one of the best receivers in the NFL. That's a guy he reminds me of just because he can do both slot and outside. So he could go earlier than expected just because of that rare type of receiver he is. On to the next guy. Not a lock, but I have him at my number 4 right now. Could definitely change, though. Juju Smith-Schuster from USC. Big play receiver. Go up and catch the ball. Pretty strong. Great blocker for a receiver. Thing with him is his scheme at USC is going to be a lot different than in the NFL. We've seen receivers in the past struggle with that, struggle with the transition. Can he do it? Other thing is route running. It's not bad route running, not great though. Can he get open? Is he fast enough to get open right off the snap of the ball? So a lot of questions with him makes him a risky player, but obviously he's good. He's a good player, big play guy. So he would be my 4th receiver right now, but nothing locked on that. Nothing like the top 3. Those are locked in. Talk about some other receivers, no particular order. D.D. Westbrook, obviously, is a good player. Was up for Heisman. Reminds me of like a Will Fuller from last year. Very similar. Will Fuller went in the first round. Can D.D. Westbrook sneak in the first round? I think he can. I don't think he will, though. And that's mainly because how good this draft class is. I think he'll be a second rounder. Will Fuller's going to have the edge on him in speed. Westbrook's going to have the edge on Will Fuller in hands, catching the ball. Westbrook is very fast, though. Will Fuller just happens to be one of the fastest college receivers I've ever seen. So Westbrook, good player. I see him as second round. Another guy, Ardarius Stewart. Surprising he came out. He's a guy that can range in this draft. He can go second round. I think he can go 4th. So anyway, I expect him to go 3rd maybe late 2nd. Came out early. Expect him to come back for another year. Kind of wish he did, but we'll see what goes on with him. Cooper Kupp is a Eastern Washington receiver, sleeper for most experts. I'm not going to have him as high as other experts, I don't think, as of now. Very actually elusive, more than I thought. after watching some film, more than I thought. But he did play against weaker competition. But he could be a guy that just gets open, gets the ball in his hands, is pretty dangerous. So he could be a solid player in the next level. Next guy, Curtis Samuel from Ohio State. Wish I mentioned him in the running backs discussion. Is he a running back? Is he a receiver? We don't really know yet. He can play both. He's a great athlete. We do know that. Problem is, people talking about him early second round. If a team's drafting based off need, they need a running back. We want a running back bad. He's probably early second round. He's probably not the best, just straight up running back. Same thing goes receiver. We want a receiver. Best one we got. He's probably not the best one there. But if you're just looking for a playmaker, make your team better. We need some explosive players on offense just to make us better. We don't care what he's going to play. Then he's your guy. Very good athlete. I expect him in the second round. Maybe not early second round though. I'm thinking mid to late. Guy that's really rising up for me, Isaiah Ford from Virginia Tech. Guy that really can do it all. Great route running. Route running has become very important for the NFL. Guys that really don't end up being that good in the NFL when you expect them to be is because their route running can't really get it down. It's a whole different thing, college to the NFL. But you can kind of see if a guy is a great route runner in college, and you should know if he can do it in the NFL. Isaiah Ford's a guy that I know that can be a good route runner, and he can go up and make a catch too. A very good athlete. Really like him. I expect him in the second round easy. That's my opinion, though. He could drop a little bit. Another guy that's very similar is Zay Jones. A lot of receiving yards this year. So he's a guy that obviously can play, very, very similar to Isaiah Ford. Another guy that's really high, that's going to be he's pretty high on my receiver rankings, is Malachi Dupre. I'm confused on why he's not really that high for other experts, but after last year, I expected him to be a first rounder easy. I'm like, this guy's for sure going to be a first round next year. Not much production this year, but that is because that LSU offense struggles. Don't really have a quarterback to throw him the ball, but he had his moments. He showed what he can do. He's a big play guy. Really like him. Other guys, Artavis Scott, was surprised that he came out too. I thought he would come back for senior year, but obviously he's a playmaker guy. Get the ball in his hands, he can turn it up. Travis Rudolph from Florida State. I think he's more on the underrated side right now. I figured he'd be talked about as second or third round. He's kind of talked about fourth, fifth round. I think he can play. Good route runner. Sleeper for me, not really much of a sleeper now because he's rising up. I think he's a guy that should go higher than what he's talked about. Is Carlos Henderson from Louisiana Tech. He's kind of got a little Antonio Brown, Tyreek Hill in him. A lot of touchdowns for Carlos Henderson at Louisiana Tech. Great, good route runner. Knows how to break tackles. Knows how to juke guys. He's just really the total package. Only thing is he played against weak competition. That's really his only weakness. He's 5'11", 191. I don't see anything wrong with that size at receiver. I think he's a great player, great athlete. I think people are going to start noticing it, and he's going to be really moving up boards then. I've only seen one other expert talk about him. This next guy, I haven't seen any expert mention him, and I'm very surprised. Is Kenny Galladay from NIU, 6'4" receiver. He's got that pro style body for receiver. AJ Green like. He will go down the field. He'll catch it over you, and they'll give him some jet sweeps and screen passes, and he'll just turn it upfield. He's very fast for a 6'4" guy. He's very AJ Green like. When he runs, kind of reminds me of Odell. Not saying he's anywhere near as good as those guys, but just that's what I saw when I was watching him. The problem with him is NIU barely played any good competition when they did. They kind of shut him down. That could be because the quarterback play or the quarterback didn't have time to throw against these better teams. NIU will play Big Ten teams at times, ACC, so didn't do too well there, but really wasn't all on him. He's got that right body for an NFL receiver, so I expect him to start going up some boards as we get closer to draft time. Katie Cannon, another guy that I'm surprised isn't being talked about. Baylor, another one of those Baylor receivers. Saw Corey Coleman last year. Is a guy that can play slot and outside too. just can go downfield and catch it. He really knows how to track the ball in the air. He really knows how to turn that speed on to the next level once the ball's in the air. Similar to John Ross, I said that about John Ross. It's almost like the same thing. Katie Cannon might be. I'm gonna say John Ross runs a better 40, but Katie Cannon really turns it up a notch when that ball's in the air and he's got to go catch it downfield. So really like him. Other Louisiana Tech guy, Trent Taylor, actually had more yards than Carlos Henderson. Not as many touchdowns. 5'8", 178, so a little undersized, but had a lot of yards. So it's a guy to look out for, maybe a late round sleeper. Travis Durrell, other LSU guy, viewed him as a second or third rounder last year, just like Dupree, but lack of production drops him down, and he had some drop passes, so ends up being like a late round guy. Could be good though. Shelton Gibson from West Virginia, another one of those guys, kind of like John Ross and Katie Cannon, playmaker guy, sleeper guy, so look out for him. Chad Hansen, California. Don't really know much about him. I just saw Daniel Jeremiah from NFL Network. He had him on his big board, so don't know much about him, but he could be a sleeper guy. So another guy, Syracuse receiver Tawo, won't try to pronounce his full name there, won't get it right, but I know most people know who he is. He led the nation in receiving yards for a while. Big play guy. The concern with him is speed, getting open right off the. He did get open very easily, but speed's the concern. I think he's a sleeper. People talk about him 6th round. I think that would be a steal in the 6th round. Plenty more receivers to talk about. Those are the ones I wanted to focus on today. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Mock draft on its way. More of these podcasts on the way. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.